Hello everyone, and welcome to another evening with the Tunisian Crochet Graphghan Boutique. I'm Jessica. So far we've been working on the cowl, the Tunisian cowl, and you can find that in the events at the top of the page. That is going on. People are starting to post their progress pictures under the... Hello Amy. People are starting to post their project pictures under the increases. A few have finally reached just about their last increase. I will be getting the decrease videos up, I'm thinking Wednesday. Things have been a little crazy here. So, does anybody have any questions about the Tunisian cowl so far? Does anybody need help? Does anybody have any questions that have to do with the regular group? Hi Melinda. I know we have a lot of new members that joined this last week as well. So if we have any questions, please let me know. Hi Mary. Yeah, I kind of fell behind on mine with my car being in the shop and life kind of going on. So does anybody have any questions about the tea cowl that's going on? Has everybody been able to find it okay? I know we've had some, like I said, we've had a lot of new members join. We've been talking about the border in the background. I think we're going to be adding the, it's the 10 stitch blanket is a border, but I'm not sure. We're going to have to see how many people are comfortable with that. And if not, what the backup's going to be, because I want everybody to be able to finish it. How many people are at the point of decreasing yet? I think I'm only on like my 8th increase. So I have like half of my blanket to do yet. So I have to really work on it this week. I was going to work on it at the garage, but it was a little dirty there, and they had a dog that was jumping on me, and the last thing I wanted was my project ruined. No questions? I did have one person message me and ask me about the blanket size, and because the pictures that people post, they look kind of small. Actually, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm working on the 8th increase. And as far as the bottom, this is the width of it so far. So it's probably about 36 inches. Wow, this is going to be an easy evening if we have nobody having any questions. Mary, how is the blanket coming out? Did you understand what I told you about the adding the border and your stitch count for your regular just Tunisian blanket? my comments just aren't coming through or whatnot. But anyway, so everybody has had an opportunity to go into the cow group, do your swatch, pick out your colors, color everything in. We have had some questions about how do I make it longer. I actually will be talking about that when we get to the decreasing part, because I want to make sure everybody has the width that they want first. So don't think, oh, I did the 15 blocks, now I'm, you know, the width is, if the width is not fine, then message me or ask in here and we will figure out how to adjust the width for what you like. Hi, Kimberly. And we'll go from there. I know a few people wanted to do one a little bit wider, so we worked out the math for that. But a few people are wanting to do it rectangular, and I will be talking about how to do that as well when we get to the decreasing part. I don't want to add something too early, because then what happens is some of the new people see a new video and then they watch it and then they really get confused because they haven't finished their increases yet. So that's what we're going to be working on, is the increases in the tea-cow. So I hope everybody's enjoying it so far. I know I am. When I do get time to sit down and work on it, like I said, unfortunately things got a little crazy here. So do we have any questions? Is there anything anybody wants to talk about this evening that has to do with Tunisian crochet? Are you guys looking about for different hooks? Any of the tutorials? We do have the tutorials right-handed, left-handed, and closed captioned in our albums. And Mary, if you have any more questions on that blanket that you're doing, please don't hesitate to message me and I'll help you out with that as well. That should be pretty straightforward since you're doing all one color. You could even do your border a different color and then do your center a different color, and that would help you with the bobbins. Let's see. So I don't know if nobody's typing or it's just giving me notifications on who's watching. I might have to catch up with comments later. We did have a question about using the fixed hooks for the tea-cow. You can use a fixed hook for it. You can, those will work pretty easy. The 10-inch ones would work better. The 14-inch ones, which is what this one is, would be a little bit long, but you can still work with that as well. And that's usually for the small projects, like something pillow size. I don't like to cram too many stitches on a hook, because what happens is your first stitch kind of gets pulled out of and stretched, so it really doesn't look as good in your project, and it'll come stretched out. And a lot of people say, well, I don't understand why my side's getting stretched out. It'll get stretched out if you cram a lot of stitches on there. Hi, Vicky. So yeah, the small hooks, I don't recommend cramming a lot on there. Not only that, it's not good for your shoulder or your hands. So that's why I like the cabled hooks, because you can work on something super small or you can work on something huge. And with the Knitter's Pride, with the connectors, you can connect 3 cables together. And I think if you connect the longest 3 cables together, it's like 90 inches. So you're really not, I can't imagine needing something bigger than that, because usually you only use a cable that's a half to a third of the width of your blanket, because the stitches really are on there just to hold them. It's not, you know, if I want to look at my Graphghan when I cast off the stitches, then I put a little stitch marker in, I lay it flat, and then I can look at my project. Then doing it with the stitches all cast on, because it crumples them up and you can't see your project as clearly. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I'm hoping that Wednesday we'll start uploading the videos for the decreasing. This week seems to be flying by, and I know a few people are getting to the point of needing to decrease, and a lot of other people are still on their first couple sets of blocks, so I don't want to go too fast, but I don't want to go too slow and have the people that have worked everything up frustrated, because then they've got to sit and wait. So I think Wednesday will be a good time to start adding things. That's my goal anyway, is for Wednesday to start uploading that. If you have any questions about the tea cow, you can ask in here. I'd prefer that you ask in the group, the tea cow group, to try to keep everything over there. You can post pictures of your tea cow in the regular group. I do encourage that. There are quite a few members that, don't pop in here a lot and are still unaware that the cow's going on. So if you guys need any help, feel free to message me or post in the group. That would help extremely much, because we always get new members and they have questions just like you do. So if you ask, there's a lot of people that are afraid to ask or shy and don't want to ask or feel like they're bothering somebody. Hi, Erica. So if they feel like they're bothering somebody, then, oh, I don't want to post. But if you guys post, then they'll be like, oh, this is a question I wanted to ask. Like I said, for this evening, all I see is who is watching. I don't see a lot of anybody commenting yet, so I don't know if it's just Facebook or whatnot, because when it updates, sometimes it does some crazy stuff. These new updates are sometimes more of a pain than a benefit. Another question I did have was about the Delicue set that I have. I have seen that they're sold out everywhere, and they have been sold out for a while. I don't know if they're actually getting the Delicue set back in stock. Also, there was another, they have knitting needles. It's like LYKK something. They came out with 6-inch interchangeable crochet hooks, and I have been having a heck of a time trying to get my hands on those. I don't know if they didn't do so well or whatnot, so I'm still trying to see if I can find them. Aha, there comes some comments. Karen says, I'm working on my tea cow and listening to you. Penny and Vicky says hi. Mary says, I will, thanks. And Melinda says, I'm loving it so far. Yes, for those of you that have gone fast, I apologize. It's going to take me a few extra days to get everything up. But I will have the decreasing videos in, like I said, I'm hoping for Wednesday. I've been working like 11 hours at night in the evening, and then coming home and going to the gym, and then taking a nap, and then getting up and making dinner for everybody, and the car's been in the shop, so it's been a little hectic here. But, that's the way life is. Never a dull moment at times. So I'm glad that everybody's enjoying the tea cow. Like I said, I will be talking about how to make your blanket taller if you do not want to do a square, and I will do that once we get to the width that we want. So I think everybody should, Penny, I try my best to do those. I think everybody should be caught up, or that should be the mid-range to add everything. Like I said, I'd like to add the decreasing part soon, but I don't want people to, do not feel frustrated that, oh, I'm not at that part yet, I'm not at the decreasing part. It's going up like Wednesday or Thursday. Don't feel frustrated that everybody, that a few people have gone ahead. Not everybody has the same time to sit around and crochet. Not everybody crochets as fast as others. This is going to be up for a while. So please don't, don't think that you have to spend every waking hour trying to catch up. This will be in the group for a long time. Zoe, I really want to have a go at the cow after I finish my current project, hopefully next week. Can it be done in DK? Is that all I use, and as it's cheap and I don't have money to spend on expensive yarn? I'm in the UK. I want small squares, but out of the videos I've looked at on YouTube, everyone is different. Some will go into one loop at the end of the stitch, and some will go into both on the end. Some seem to chain, and some don't. So this has made me confused on which way to do it, as I've never done entrelac before, and I've only been doing Tunisian crochet since May this year. Also, could I be added to the tea cow group, please? The tea cow, if you go into the main group, I don't know how, we can put a link in down below, but also the tea cow group, for you to be able to find it, is if you are on your phone, I think it's on the computer too, right under our header, there's tabs that say announcements and files, and you can scroll back and forth on those. If you scroll to the right a little bit, it says events, and if you click events, the one says Tunisian Entrelac Cow, and that'll help you find it. Yes, you can use a DK. If you need help with that, I would recommend doing a swatch in the DK with a hook that's at least 4 times bigger than what your DK calls for, and I don't have any DK sitting next to me right now. Everything I have is super fine. Go up 4 hook sizes and then do a swatch that's probably about 20 by 20. 20 stitches wide and 20 rows tall, and then measure that. We talk about the gauge swatch over in the other cow, or in the tea cow event. You want to measure your block from, and I know this is going to look backwards on camera, but when you make your block and you cast off on this edge, when you cast off, you're going to yarn over and pull through 2. We're not going to yarn over and pull through 1 like a Graphghan. For the entrelac, you're going to yarn over and pull through 2. So you want to measure your 4 inches from this edge that you yarned over and pulled through 2, because it's going to pull the stitches a little bit closer together, and you want to get a 4-inch square. And once you get that, your 4-inch square, then you'll know how much you need to do, and that'll help you with figuring out sizing and everything else for this, Zoe. And if you need help, don't hesitate to ask. We have videos up in the group for that. Penny says, I haven't started mine yet. I can't find an L hook. You can order them separately. The Knitter's Pride sells an L hook separately. You actually can order an L hook or the set of the cheap fixed hooks on Amazon. I like to order the cabled hooks that go with the set that I have. Most of them, you're going to find them sold online. Tunisian is really not as popular, so it's really not sold in stores. So you're not really going to be able to find anything except for like a hook at Walmart. And a lot of times the hooks at Walmart are not the size that we need, but, you know, as beginners we pick a hook up there and think, oh, you know, a J hook or an I hook or an H hook, that ought to be fine. And then you realize you need a hook that's at least 2 sizes bigger. Erica posted the event for you, Zoe. Um, so, yeah, like I said, there's no hurry to get this done. I know that a few people are going to be reaching the part where you decreased probably within the next day or two. I'm going to at least need this weekend to work on it to get that far, because I'm only on like block 8 of the 8 increases, so I think it's like block 9 if you count blocks across. So do we have any questions so far? Any other questions? And Penny, what brand hooks are you currently using? Do you have the Knitter's Pride set, or have you ordered just 1 or 2 of each hook? Karen says nope. Penny, okay, thank you. I can get a start on now. Yeah, if you can use a DK or another weight, I would just do, your swatch is going to have to be different. Like I said, you can use the fixed hooks if you do have them. Most of them do come with an L in your set, which is the 8mm. I know a few have just ordered a hook here and there with the cables. Penny and I hook. Yeah, that's going to be really small. Goodness, to do G. Yeah, you would almost have to do almost like a finger weight yarn to be able to use an eye. Yeah, I think I'd pop on Amazon and order either. Of course, the bag's going to make a ton of noise. I'd pop on Amazon and order the fixed hook set. It's super cheap. Or I would hop on Amazon and order the Knitter's Pride, and then just order yourself like a 32-inch cable, because 32-inch cable I've been able to do everything with. If you're going to do a lot of Graphghans, then I would recommend the 40-inch cable. A lot of people like the 40-inch cable better. I like the 32-inch, but it's most of the ones that I do are throws. Even for my full-size blankets, I think the Queen, I use the 40, but I don't know a lot of people that make a lot of the Graphghans and Queens. Most of the customers I have ask for throws. Mary said, just make sure when your Knitter's Pride comes, they're pointed. Yeah, I think a few people ordered off of eBay and got a couple sets that weren't um, pointed. I ordered a set and I got them and they weren't pointed. I wasn't too happy with them. I actually sent them back. Um, Thank you, Erica. Yeah, for the tea cow, you can use something fixed. I do recommend, you know, if you're going to really get into Tunisian, the Knitter's Pride set's great. It's like 45 bucks. Sometimes they go on sale for, they fluctuate. It just depends on the season. I think the cheapest I've seen them is about 37 bucks lately. Um, and I think that was on eBay. Thank you, Erica. So, do we have any questions? How many people, are there a few people on here that are getting ready to decrease on the tea cow? Hi, Brenda. Yes, Karen says you. Melanie says she just bought a new set. Yeah, like I said, I know that there's like 2 or 3 people that are getting ready to decrease, and I hope it's not going to be off-putting, but I'm going to have to, like I said, to be at the first available time I'm going to be able to get the video up is next week. Hopefully I can get more done than I than I have anticipated this weekend, but we'll see. My weekend got jam-packed full of some unexpected plans. Somebody ran into Jerry's tractor trailer at the pilot, so we've got to take it up to the his main business and drop it off on Saturday. So, hi Tiffany, hi Gloria. Yeah, so back to what I was saying. I'm not trying to rush people, and I know that there are people that have worked ahead a little bit. I hope to have the decreasing videos up. Actually, I will have them up like Wednesday. I know that this is going to give a few people that are ready to decrease a couple days, but I'm just trying to get them up as soon as I can. I had anticipated working on 2 rows a day, and that just didn't work out with everything that happened. Sometimes life just gets in the way. But, yeah, so, um, and I didn't want to put the decreasing videos up too soon because I didn't want people to get confused that we're still working on the increasing, but I'm enjoying seeing all of the increases and that everybody's posting their increases underneath the flyers and seeing everybody's work. I think you know, and that goes without saying, you know, sometimes you're working on a project and it goes much faster because for me, I have to stop and film and make sure that everybody's up to date here. So that kind of slowed me down a little bit too. But, you know, I want everybody to be as clear. And that's what I'm trying to get with this cow too, is that everybody understands and make it very beginner friendly. That's why we did it with such a large hook too and did bigger blocks, because that way it's easier to see the blocks. It's easier to get familiar with your stitches. Hi Angela. And it's easier to see what's going on. I know a lot of the entrelock ones, people are like, oh my gosh, the blocks are so small and I can't see anything and I'm just learning and they're so small and, you know, there's going to be like 3,000 blocks by the time I'm done. You know, if I do this blanket and it's throw size, each block's only like 2 inches, so I've got to do 30 blocks by 30 blocks and it's going to be 900 blocks. And, you know, I know people get very frustrated with that. Hi, Bonnie. So, with that being said, that's why we did the bigger blocks, and I hope everybody's happy with their colors and what they got going on. For the most part, I am. You know, I think we're our own worst critic. I stopped with one color and had to add another skeiny yarn. And since I'm working with variegated, it didn't. I should have stopped at the end of the last block here and then added my new skein down here, and I didn't. But, you know, this is something that's going to be in my living room, so I am not going to, you know, pull out the 3 blocks just because those 2 blocks, those 2 rows. Hi, Kim. Gloria says, I love the big blocks. I like the big blocks. I love the big blocks because it is, you know, even when you're doing the bigger blocks, you know, it kind of gets frustrating when you're working on the smaller blocks and you're like, oh, I've got 900 of these to do. So this way, you know, yeah, we're going to have 15 rows and 15 high, you know, for the throw, and it doesn't seem like 225 blocks, especially with the bigger blocks, you know, because you're just counting up to that 15 and then you're decreasing, so it's not, I don't think it seems like as much. But like I said, I'm really liking how these colors are working out. They're, Erica said still 225. Oh, you're done with yours. All you have to do is weave in ends and then add your border. Erica got the quick draw McGraw hands and did hers when we started, because she didn't really have to do any of the filming. Or Melinda says it's all about perspective. Yes, it is. Yes, so the decreasing blocks should go up. Hi, Pamela. The decreasing block should go up Wednesday. I'll sit down with that and get some stuff filmed and get all of that done, and then I will be working. After I get that done, then we will add the border. I'm trying to decide which border we're going to do. The 10 stitch blanket has a mitered corner border, which I think a lot of people would be interested in. Tiffany says I'm trying to get caught up, and I was wondering if there's a way to get caught up with some help because I have no clue what I'm doing. Have you joined the TCAL, Tiffany? Have you did your gauge swatch and blocked it and have your colors picked out? Do you have your L hook and yarn together? Have you figured out how much yarn you're going to need? Where are you stuck? Hi, Sissy. Bye, Penny. Okay, so, like I said, most of the people that I've talked to so far are about on the 5th to 7th or 8th increase. And behind the scenes, I've been working with quite a few people on their increases and where they are and what hooks and gauge swatches. So, and filming. So, like I said, Wednesday I'm going to be putting the decreasing videos up. I'm going to start by, I think what I'm going to do is film these and then post them in there. Tiffany, yes, I have the hook and the yarn. I got my gauge. I'm not sure if I'm checking the gauge right. I haven't blocked it yet. I'm going to. Well, once you block it, then you check your gauge. And you're going to measure from your cast off side. And that's what I was talking about. since you yarn over and pull through 2 all the way across, you're going to measure from that side, and you want 4 inches and then 4 inches tall. So the gauge swatch is going to matter, and it needs to be blocked, because what happens is when you block something, it stretches that out a little bit. If you are going to be blocking this with an iron, you do not want to kill your fabric. You only need to basically just not even touch this. I had one of my mods, she killed her fabric because she put the iron on it too long. Even with 2 towels, it'll get shiny and the stitches will be flat. You just want the steam lightly over it. You can actually steam above the towels and then pull your towels aside, and then, you know, when the fabric's a little bit cool, touch it and pull it the way that you want. Hi Linda. Gloria says, I would love to learn the mitered corners. I just wanted to say hello from work. Got to run back to residence. Well, I'm glad you seem to enjoy your new job, Linda. Yeah, so once you get it blocked and everything else, that's going to be your gauge swatch. That's going to tell you how many rows you need. It's going to tell you how wide you need it. And because originally I did my first one and I did 15 stitches wide, and once I swatched it, I realized I only need 14. A few people have done 10 rows and a bind off. Me, I need 11 rows in the bind off to get 4 inches tall. So I would recommend doing the 11 rows and then measure from there once you get everything blocked. Your gauge swatch, if you measure it before and after, it should only grow like a ½ an inch tops. If it's growing more than that, then you've overblocked your work. Yeah, so I think as it stands, we're probably going to be doing the mitered corners, and we'll walk you through all of those. It's going to be pretty easy, I think. Because I want to still try to keep this beginner friendly, so we may give 2 options. I've got to get that far so that I can see what happens. But I really think the mitered corners are going to be nice. So do we have any more questions this evening? And Tiffany, once you get everything blocked, go into the cowl and you'll get the next steps. Like I said, that's another reason I like the garment steamer so much, is you can steam from and it does not get as hot as the iron, not at all. And it's not like, you know, you're pinning this down and stretching it out, and, you know, you're just putting, you know, a pin in each corner of your gauge swatch and just lightly going over it with the garment steamer. The garment steamer works so well for me, and like I said, it's so versatile because I use it for my curtains in my house. I use it on the mattresses twice a year, because you can steam your mattress and it kills the dust mites and everything that's in your mattress. And your curtains, you can steam them and it takes the smells out of them. You know, or you can wash new curtains and you still don't get the lines that are the fold lines out of them. So you steam them once I hang them after they're washed, and all of that stuff comes out and they look pristine. It's good for showing houses as well, to freshen everything up, the fabric, you know, the fabric couches and carpets, anything in there. Alright, so like I said, plan is Wednesday to start getting the decreasing videos up, and start with there. I thank everyone that has worked ahead and has gotten further than me for their patience for me to get the decreasing sections up. If you guys need anything, please don't hesitate to post in the group, post in the TCal, and we will get you answered as soon as possible. This is going to be a busy weekend for me. Unfortunately, my car went to the garage and the check engine light come back on the day after I got it back. So we got to do the garage and a few things this weekend. Tiffany says, okay, I'll do it here in a bit. I'm planning on getting a mini iron or a steamer so I can start blocking my projects. Yeah, I have so many people that have ruined their projects with an iron that I even take my steamer to my classes that I teach and let my students use the garment steamer because they get to see the difference. I actually have a block that someone steamed too much with the iron and it killed it. And so they can see like how shiny it is and how the stitches look flat and how the gauge swatch changed over like 3/4 to an inch in size because it got too much. Melinda says, sounds like my car. Yeah, it's been a good car, and it's still a good car, knock on wood. But it's been nickel and diming me. Bonnie says, yep, don't use the iron anymore. Hi, Dina. Yeah, the iron and me, I did a Graphghan, and it was a queen size Graphghan, and this thing was gonna be like an $800 order, and I'm steaming this thing with the iron, and my arm was getting tired, and I seen a spot where it just started to. It wasn't that it was killed, but it got a little bit too shiny. It was, and I knew it was there. And after that, I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. My projects are I put too much work in them to have them ruined just by blocking them when I'm done. And I like to block them because a lot of times when I go to craft fairs or whatever, I hang my stuff up. And I can't tell you how many times I have gotten sales and I'm right next to another crocheter and their work looks like it's rolled up in a ball, and someone will buy the exact same thing off of me even though it's more expensive just because it looks more professional because it's been steamed. And I actually take my garment steamer to the craft shows as well. And there's a couple times where I've had to go into the women's bathroom or whatever with my mannequin. So here I am carrying my mannequin and my garment steamer, and I'm in the bathroom with my garment steamer plugged in, and I'm steaming a shawl on a mannequin so that it looks good, and then taking everything and pulling it back out to put into my stall. So but I do love my garment steamer. I can't say enough about it, and you can find them on buy sell trade pages all the time. So I'm glad that everybody's enjoying the TCal. If you guys have any questions, please ask in the TCal. Please ask in here, and we'll get you help. I am, like I said, I'm super happy with the fall colors and how they're coming out in here, and I'm really liking it. Like I said, my only complaint is that I changed skeins right here, and but it's mine and it's going on my couch, so I'm not frogging these 3 blocks just to do that. It's not worth it to me. This is a me project. I don't make them very often. I don't think a lot of us crafters do make enough me stuff, so this is a me thing. So thank you all for joining me this evening. If you have any questions or you rewatch this later and you think of something, ask under here. I do get notifications for them, even though they're later on, which is why I like this. Bonnie says, what yarn are you using again? I love this yarn, And this one is called Plumberry, and it's got greens and pinks and oranges, and I know you can't see the colors really well, but and then the dark color is, I love this yarn, and it is called Black Gradient, and it's got blacks and grays and whites. And I wanted something that had a lot of colors in it, and that I only needed to use 2 different colors. And I'm gonna have to try to decide on what my border color is going to be. There is a lot of cream in these blocks that have the green, and there's cream in these ones that have but I have a Doberman and she's really dark, so I may do dark. I'm not sure yet. I may do all the colors. Hi, Angela. I don't know. But anyway, like I said, if y'all have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. We're always here to help. Even on the weekends when we have family time, we still do check in quite often, actually. So, don't think that, you're going to make a post and it's going to sit all weekend. Usually we do check, even when we're off. So, if there's no more questions and everybody is okay with me adding the videos on Wednesday for the decreasing section, all of those that have crocheted really fast, just give me a few days and I will catch up and get with you all. And since Gloria said, where did it go? Excuse me, that she likes the mitered corners, and I've had a few other that said that they're interested in doing the mitered corners. That's probably what we're going to do. Give me a few days to get all that together behind the scenes. And thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for participating in the tea cow. It's nice to have a cow in here. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, I can't participate now, or, things are so busy or whatnot. That's why it's going to be up for a long time. So don't think, oh, I haven't started yet. Bless you. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Stephanie. Don't think you've got to rush. Just because we're adding more, do not think you have to rush. I want this to be beginner friendly. I want you to go at your own pace. This is not something that, oh my gosh, in 2 months this is going to be taken down. This is going to be up for a while. Please work at your own pace. If you're a beginner and you have a question, thank you, Melinda. She said, bless you. If you're a beginner, please work at your own pace. Work as you're comfortable. Not everybody works and only has a few hours to work on it. Some people stay home. Some people crochet faster. Please, please, please do not feel like you're rushed into doing anything here. I like this group to be very family friendly and very, that we're all a big family and that everybody has time to work on things. I don't like for things to be rushed. I see so many people complaining in other groups. I started this cow and oh, my car broke down, or this happened or that happened, and now they're taking it down, so now I got to purchase something. We're not doing that here. So don't feel like you have to rush to do anything. These will be up for a long time. So, thank you all for joining me this evening. Stephanie, are y'all willing to do a Graphghan tea cow? We do have the beginner blocks in the other event. that are super easy. We did do a couple Graphghan related decals here. They were done in blocks, and I got a lot of people that messaged me that they really don't like doing blocks. They'd rather do something that's one piece. So if we did do a decal, it would probably need to be something that was released so many rows a day, and it would probably be based on something that we got a lot of feedback for, that there was interest in. So, we'd have to see. Have you even, Stephanie, have you looked at the beginner blocks? That cow for the practice blocks? Hi, Leela. Yeah, we do have the tea cow going on, which is the entrelac blanket. And we also have an event that's open that's beginner-friendly blocks. Yeah, we would be interested in doing a tea cow for Graphghan, but like I said, it would have to be something that everybody was interested in, and it would probably be something that we release so many rows a day. And that's the thing with the group, is so many people have so many varied interests that doing something tea-cow that's a Graphghan, it's kind of hard to pick something that everybody's interested in. Hi Josie, hi Shonda. But yeah, we'll have to throw that around in the background. Stephanie, yes ma'am, I have. I've done tons of Graphghans. The one piece is what I meant. My bad. Yeah, like I said, we've done a couple here that have been hosted by other groups and the blocks, and a lot of people were like, I absolutely do not like the blocks. I don't like join as you go. And that's where a lot of the people that had, said I'm going fell off. They were like, I don't want to do blocks. So, yeah, we'll look in and see, and see what we can come up with. Stephanie, would you be interested in something that's baby blanket size or throw size? Yeah, it's a little chilly here this evening, Josie. So, we're doing a bonfire, and I started early. I had a fireball and apple cider throw size. Yeah, let me see what we can come up with, throw size, and we'll throw around some pattern ideas. Maybe we can get one of the designers to pop on and work on a design for us. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. I've got a couple ideas floating around in here. Okay, ladies, I'm going to pop off here this evening, and if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. We'll get you helped. Tiffany, get your blocks done, and if you need help, let me know. The videos are up in the TCal group. I look forward to seeing what everybody else has done and how their colors are all coming out. And if you have any questions, let me know. And Stephanie, are you looking for something that's like adult related? I don't mean like cuss words, but like a glass of wine, or like, I don't know, something like that. Think about it and answer under here. Something maybe wifey related. Alright guys, I'm going to pop off here. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope that you all have a fantastic evening. I look forward to seeing everybody's work in the TCAL and for regular Graphghans. And please, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Please keep showing your beautiful work in the group and in the TCAL. And thank you guys for your patience. I will get the decreasing blocks up Wednesday. And I know that some of you have gotten further ahead than I have. But thank you for your patience. You all have a fantastic evening, and thank you for joining me for another live. You guys make it great. Good night.